I said, we did a pretty good job on their running game, except for the times the quarterback broke containment and ran it. But the inside running, was, I thought we did a decent job with.
Big play here. It's Thompson out in the flat. With Bonnabel bringing that outside guy, we knew the fullback was going to be open, so if we told him to try to look quick for him, especially at halftime.
That's one of the gambles you take on defense. We were rushing that outside backer, giving up that flat, but gambling that he'd get a sack before he could throw it. And you know, the athletic ability of the quarterback kept beating it, so he was able to make that play.
Grace King with a 2nd and goal at the 7.
This could have been devastating. You know, we scored a touchdown. Here he comes bootlegging into the TD, and we had a hooking call on the guard, looking at the film, it was a good call. They threw it right away. But we come right back and scored on this play, so didn't make it hurt us. Well,
Grace King with a 2nd and goal.
Next play, tight end screen on this play to Eric Burgess. A real good block by Dennis Guerrero coming back, picking off one of the defenders, and then Eric turns it into a good play. So
we had a player right there.
Penalty yards, yes.
Yeah, we had a player right there, and right next to the screen, he fought through the blockers, and then he just didn't make the tackle.
It's a real good play here. A good catch by Corey Cookmeyer, and a good turn and throw by.
And a good example of a team overcoming a serious penalty,
right,
like you're talking about.
Yeah, they caught us with a little mix-up in our man coverage. We had some confusion on who was covering who on that side, and he ran free.
Yes, our kicker, Eric Hackler, makes the extra point. A big extra point made, 13-7.
And, Coach, here's a replay of that touchdown pass.
Does a good job. Christian Murillo does a good job of getting out in front. Throws back to Cookmeyer, and he makes a real good catch. Corey Cookmeyer, first touchdown. First touchdown is playing King.
Exciting moment there.
He was playing both ways. He played defensive back and wide receiver.
We have 4:17 left in the 2nd quarter. Bonnabel now on top 13-7. And again, Grace King right back in this football game.
So nice having a good kicker. I mean, that's helped our kickoff coverage a lot this year. This kid right here keeps them down, and where they're going to move the ball, and it just gives them a longer area to go. And we're going to keep them in front, not let them break them like they did last year.
Well, we've mentioned many times on this program, if a high school team has to drive 70, 80 yards for touchdowns all the time, they're prone to make a mistake that'll break up the drive.
Yeah, it's always been our philosophy on defense is to make the offense snap the ball a lot, and often they'll stop themselves.
Yes.
It's a good play by Joe Marshall again, and Corey Cookmeyer, 18. Right after makes a tackle on the first play right after scoring his touchdown.
Bonnabel with a 2nd and 7 at their own 23-yard line.
Here we're doing a little shifting, trying to get the defense on their heels a little bit. It's Figueroa running a sweep to the left.
We're scared of all 3 running backs, but especially Figueroa, because you tend to look at the fullback and then Davis, and then they go give it to Figueroa, and he could break it any time, too.
There's a play that's been really good to us this year. The Delaware the Wing T book, which we subscribe to, it's called The Down. And he's run it really well this year. That's just the belly to the other side.
Chad Phillips stepping up real strong there again, saving it, keeping from being a longer run than it is.
Bonnabel with a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Late in the 2nd quarter.
We're keeping a lot of people around the ball. Jason Giroux, Ronnie Tunnefeld. Real good play by Chad Phillips, Brad Phillips, excuse me.
Fought off the block
twin,
and
he did a real good
play.
job.
I know how it is, Coach. I had twins the last 4 years. I confuse them all the time.
George Nasser, the 75, makes a good play with Ryan Delpino stepping up. But George has, on 75 there, has really come. He's played real consistent ball at the end of the last 4 or 5 ball games.
In this series here, Robinson had gotten hit on the leg and had to sit out a couple of plays. We had to move Figueroa to fullback. He is our backup fullback.
Chad Phillips with good coverage there. We try to keep him in front.
We threw a little hitch to Jordan there. And Robinson's back in now.
Bonnabel with a 2nd and 2, making the 1st down.
Brad Phillips and Jason Giroux on the tackle, trying to keep him out of the end zone right before halftime. Good hit by Ryan Delpino there. inside linebacker, sophomore.
You never know. This is our 2-minute offense. I think we're just running the ball to the fullback. Right before the end of the half.
Well, of course, with your no-huddle offense as it is.
Well, that's something we couldn't really use this week.
Right.
You know, like you were saying before, Grace King runs the same offense as us, and now
Exactly.
they're going to the same numbering
right.
system, and so it's hard to call plays at the line when the other team runs the same offense.
Exactly. And of course, that's something you've been doing all year and had to change.
Yeah, well, we did a little bit of it in the second half, and then realized we were, you know, just as successful or more so coming from the huddle. So.
Good play by Cookmeyer. He was outmanned again. He was a height advantage we talked about, and they stayed right with him on that.
Yeah, he was just trying to get a chance for Jordan to jump up and maybe I'll jump his secondary, but the ball was a little long and off the field.
That brings the first half to an end. Bonnabel 13, King 7. Coach, let's talk a little bit about these twins, Brad and Chad Phillips. They have been a big part of the Grace King program.
Like I said last week against 2 weeks ago when I was here with Higgins, I mean, they are a big part of the program. They're excellent wrestlers, and they're also outstanding track performers.
Yeah.
So they're type kids that just don't play one sport. They do everything, all 3 sports for the school. And as far as spirit goes, they both just, I mean, it's hard to separate as far as that goes. They just have just a tremendous amount of spirit all the time. And all the people from around the district know them, and like at track meets and wrestling tournaments and college nights, they talk to everybody. And
Yeah.
sometimes I get on because I think they talk too much. And I said, I'll just be yourselves. But as far as play, they play both ways. And I'm always concerned about both of them because Chad is a quarterback and plays defensive back. And you have to watch them all the time, especially in the third and fourth quarter, because they give so much that they could go down at any time because they're not going to tell you they're hurting.
Exactly.
And Brad is the strong safety and the wing back, and both of them return punts. And if we didn't have them, any particular game, we'd be, we're missing 4 and 5 positions when they play. And they play hard, and they play top-notch every week, and they're consistent performers, and really going to miss them next year.
Oh, I know you are, because they've done a great job, and they're doing an outstanding job this year for you in your program. Coach, you mentioned the wing T and the 4-back offense. One thing, though, that I think you really have an advantage this year, you do not have a weakness at any of these 4 spots where a team can say, well, maybe this guy won't beat me. You really have to defense all 4 backs.
Well, usually when we're setting up personnel before a season, we try to get a better runner at fullback. We feel everything begins with fullback, and we've had Robinson, who's been with the program 3 years now. He was a JV fullback the last 2 years. He's led it on the varsity, playing at other positions behind a pretty good fullback, Eric Perdomo, the last 2 years.
Yes.
And then this year with the emergence of the 2 halfbacks, there were 2 first-year players. And they just took to the offense so great. It's really added a lot to it, because there's been times in the past where we were like right-handed or left-handed because of we'd have one halfback who wasn't quite as capable as the other and such like that. But this year we can run pretty much the whole playbook.
Coach, you had to be pleased with the way the first half, right in the thick of this football game. What were you talking about with your assistant coaches and the players at halftime on what you were going to do in the second half?
Well, anytime you're down 13-0, you turn and you score a touchdown and cut it in half, and they were getting close there toward the end to score, and we were fortunate to keep them out of the end zone. And well, we worked on some running adjustments, but also tried to work on some blocking, trying to keep 87 from coming in clean. They're outside. Linebacker in the corner from coming in. And we made a few adjustments that helped in the second half. We had to help the quarterback out to get him a quick read on some passes. And defensively, we're going to just keep doing what we were doing. I mean, even though they threw 2 touchdown passes on us, like you said, they got four running backs to defend and plus a wide receiver now that's caught. They put up 38 points on West Jeff and this pass and helped them. And they've run on everybody, and so we had to continue what we're doing because, to me, the quickest way they would score on us would be the run. And we wanted to force them to throw, and unfortunately, we're watching, all 4 backs, and then when we get man-to-man situations, we tried to put our best back on them, but that always doesn't happen. And that wide receiver, Jordan, is a tremendous athlete.
Yes. Coach, you mentioned a couple of things. Of course, basically your running game had been going well. Things have been working well for you, in the first half. defensively at the end. You know, Grace King coming right back and driving for that big score. What were the emotions like in the Bonnabel locker room?
A lot of frustration at halftime. I think a lot of our kids realized that we could be doing a little better. We had some situations where some unsportsmanlike penalties were called on us for talking to the other team, and it kind of stopped drives, and
Yes.
and we were a little frustrated there, and pretty much we were just trying to, get our composure back and just settle down and play like we were capable of playing.
You mentioned the, getting away from the no huddle and then going back to it some in the second half, because of the same terminology and all. What did you do to get away from that in going to the no huddle in the second half?
We just do what everybody else does. We huddle up and call a play, which is different for us.
But I mean, you went to some of the no huddle though.
Yeah, we tried it for a series or two, and we thought that maybe they were getting tipped off where we were coming, and we always use some decoy numbers and all that, but.
Right.
Sometimes maybe if they're schooled up enough to know where we were running, sometimes, a team that is pretty good will have tendencies because they're going to do what they do best,
Exactly.
So we thought we'd just go back to the huddle, and it was good. We moved the ball. We're just huddling up.
Let's take a look at the second half highlights. Grace King, Bonnabel. Bonnabel receiving to begin the second half, going from left to right on your screen.
As Gary Turner returning the kickoff, did a good job.
Good tackle by Joe Marshall and Adam Latta. Adam Latta got hurt on that play. He's out for the rest of the year. He's a good special team player for us, and also backup fullback, running back, defensive back. One of those type kids you need. It's unfortunate injury on the first play.
That's the inside power play by Keoki Davis again. There's our bread and butter going to the fullback, Robinson, on the belly play. Behind Hugo Perez and Desmond Nunnery on that left side, and the center, Kevin Pickford.
Bonnabel with a 3rd and 1 at their own 41-yard line. And I see here is where you went back to the no huddle.
Yeah, we're using it on this series right here.
Good play by George Nasser. Stepping down hard, stepping up into the block, reading the block of the guard.
1st and 10, Bonnabel at their own 44-yard line.
It's funny, sometimes, plays are coming, and you can pick up plays, but as good as they block and run, several times they ran plays, we knew they were coming, and they still got yardage.
And the way people played us this year, it's been amazing. We'd look at flanks and call a sweep or whatever we call it and say, how can we run a play into that alignment? And we run the play, we might make 20 yards, because no matter how you line up, if you block them, you can run the play.
Correct.
The rule block with the wing tee sets up for any kind of defense you go against, and some are better than others, but, I mean, if you execute, you can run the ball.
There were times where we'd be outnumbered at the point of attack where somebody's going to be free, and then that's when the running back makes a good play, makes him miss.
Yes. Well, I think sometimes coaches can out-coach themselves, too, in trying to look at all the things that they can do, and then sometimes they just have to go back to the things they know they can do.
Yeah, there'll be times where we call a play, and I'm listening to the offensive coaches on the headset, and they'll call a play, and he goes, they'll start wincing. I don't know, they moved at the last minute or something, and we run the play, we'll make 15 yards.
Yes.
The kids just, make a great play.
Correct.
It makes you look like a good coach.
Good blocking and tackling and running makes all of us look like good coaches.
That's no mystery in this game. That was a close one there. Derek Williams, the quarterback, who's really come on in the last 3 weeks. The combination of him and Jordan there has rolled up 7 touchdown passes in the last 3 weeks.
Of course, this is one of the situations you were talking about where you had a 2nd and now a 3rd and long after a penalty.
That was after a major penalty that kind of stopped that drive and kind of took some of the steam out of us on that first possession in the second half, as we wanted to try to score in the first possession of the second half. Here, Davis had a little trouble adjusting to the football. He's wide open. Those are the kind of plays you have to make.
Almost a great play.
Putting all our attention on 44, on Jordan, and they did a good job bringing Davis up the sideline.
Bonnabel punting on 4th down from their own 49-yard line.
This is a great punt by Jeff Jones. He got it into the corner there around the 5-yard line.
Of course, here Grace King starting deep in their own territory after that good punt.
We felt like we had to do something here to take a shot at them, and because I knew they were controlling the ball, even though the first half we held them out of the end zone, they were still moving the football, and we needed to come up with something and mix the plays up here, and this is a big play right here.
And Jeff Jones in that last play made the play on a trap.
Chad had a man in his face and hits Thompson. Now, this one of the adjustments we made at halftime, and it turned out to be a big play, and Russell Thompson almost breaks it.
Great throw and great catch.
That was a great hustle play by 87 there, Jason McCray. That turned out to be a touchdown saving tackle.
Of course, moving all the way from your own 5-yard line to the Bonnabel 20, and again, a great throw, great catch, and a great run after the ball game.
This puts us back in the ball game for a while, and we're going to have to come and get a good bootleg action here with Chad again and get inside the 10, down about the 7-8-yard line. And unfortunately, conduct call ends up hurting us on this play. One of our kids never says anything. Joe Marshall, he said something to the official here. And right here, we're on the 5-yard line. And well, it's about right this time. He jumps up and says something. We get a 15-yard penalty.
And of course, you know, as coaches, we talk to our kids and we work on this. And in the heat of battle, sometimes, you know, things just happen like that.
And then we come back with the same play we ran on the goal line, and then this play is wide open. 85, Burgess wide open in the end zone. The fullback's open short. Split ends open across the middle. And it's unfortunate, not one of Chad's best passes.
Just a little bit underthrown and a good interception there.
Through 15 passes, this is one battle. It hurt us, but it's...
That play turned out to be the play of the game for us. It just turned our whole emotion around. You can see now how we just offensively after that play we start coming off the ball and running and getting, you know, 8 and 10 yards a clip. And it was a great play by Keoki Davis, who plays defense also, made that interception.
It's just one of those plays that for a team like King that you have to make.
Right.
And I've been preaching that for 3 years. That's the difference between winning games and losing games right there is making that play.
Well, and as you mentioned, you know, a play like that causes a big momentum swing, you know, in the ball game.
Well, you could see it.
Yeah.
You could feel it. I mean, although we're still hustling with football and all that, it's just you can't help but be disappointed.
Well, it's the difference in going in and scoring and being up by 1 point, 14 to 13, or if you miss the point, 13 all,
right.
and coming away without anything.
All right, they make that play, it changes the whole complexion of the game.
Absolutely.
But to Bonnabel's credit here, we still had them in bad field position, and we needed to stop them down here, and they came down and just keep coming back with 10, 15-yard plays here and take it on with the
inside power play to our left there with Figueroa running the ball.
1st and 10 for Bonnabel at the Grace King 36-yard line.
There's Robinson running hard as usual.
I saw him carry 4 men into the end zone in one of your football games, Coach. I believe it was De La Salle.
Yeah,
early in the year.
Yeah, that's true. He's a load to bring down for sure.
Ronnie Sonnenfeld and George Master coming up, stepping up strong for us. And we got a holding call on this play. We didn't give up. You know, we kept staying in there, and we forced them, and it go back to number 44 again for the touchdown pass. We hung in there with the run, and we didn't have a big opening.
You can see in that last play, Robinson also is a lead blocker when we run that outside power play, power sweep, and that's another aspect of the wing T. All backs run, but they all block also.
Bonnabel now with a 2nd and 25 after the 2 consecutive penalties, and of course here again, this is something that teams, you know, it's difficult to overcome, but you have to, you know, at some point to become a good football team.
Sometimes you have to do it.
Probably the best throw we had by the quarterback.
It's the same one we threw earlier where Davis had missed the ball out on the sideline. This time we threw it to Jordan down the middle, and he'd gotten behind him. That was a great throw by Derek Williams.
Here's
Catch by James Jordan.
Try for the extra point, going for 2, and it's good. And Coach, on this replay of the touchdown, you have double coverage on this. He just gets a step behind the secondary.
A real good athlete making the play there. We try to put as many people we can on him, and he makes a good play. But the key play was the pass by the quarterback. If he underthrows it or overthrows it, it's incomplete, but it was an excellent pass.
We have 1:25 left in the third quarter. Bonnabel now on top, 21-7, after the two-point conversion and the touchdown.
That was Nathaniel Brazil on the return, sophomore return, kick return.
Derek Turner, the first one down, to sophomore defensive back, who's going to be a good player before he leaves.
Grace King with a 1st and 10 at their 29-yard line.
A little counter play by King there. We had somebody at the point of attack, made a good play.
About 5-6 yard pickup there. No little adjustment there with the split end. Corey Cook made a nice catch. Chad got a quick read on with the man coming up in his face.
This series, you can just see how the emotion has changed a bit for us. We're starting to run to the ball like we're capable of doing. Like Steve N putting a hit on the quarterback as he released it on that last play. We tackle a man in the flat instead of letting him run it up the sideline like he had done earlier.
Grace King punting from their own 31 on 4th and 8.
That was a good job by Turner again, saving some field position. That ball would have rolled way back towards the goal.
Exactly.
Johnson Steele on a 40-man, nice tackle on the play. He's been a good cover man on our fronts and kickoffs all year.
With this play, we begin the fourth quarter. Bonnabel with a 1st and 10 from their 44-yard line.
Good play, CBL, Darren Bouchon on the 60. A real consistent player, defensive end.
Coach, he's played well all night. He has been a good player for
you. Our front four has been playing pretty consistent all year long, and I've been very proud of them.
It's a good run by Keoki Davis, good blocking, and then good running after that.
So this play here, Chad Phillips had already taken a shot on the knee, on the thigh on offense the last play, and then he hustles down to save the touchdown and catches one out play and catches him, but he's still in the ball game.
Bonnabel with a 1st and 10 at the Grace King 22-yard line.
Dan Bouchon again on the play. I think he got blocked a little bit on that play. Good one-on-one block, but he stayed with it. That's a good surge there. I think that's going to be probably Ronnie Tunnefeld again, number 61. Chad Phillips again stepping up for the play.
This was a great throw by Derek Williams. The fade right into the corner from our sideline. We thought maybe he was out of bounds or something, but looking on the tape here, it was just beautiful. The good fade route by the receiver Jordan there was his 3rd touchdown of the night. And it was great execution. And Nunnery gets the extra point, the hold by Jason McCray there.
And here's a replay of that touchdown. Of course, a timing pattern right in the corner of the end zone. We have 9:54 left in the fourth quarter. Bonnabel 28, King 7.
I think we're going to have a good play here, busting the wedge. Jake Thompson there just comes through all of it and makes a great play.
Joe Bergman, backup quarterback, comes in, and we have the run on the outside. Anytime we have the split in, defensive end hook, the quarterback gets a read. The first read is run. Try to make something happen with a pass.
That was Jordan playing defense, and he had a chance to make an interception on that play earlier, and he missed it. This time he got the chance again. He made the play.
Pass just overthrown. Bonnabel taking over, and then a 5-yard penalty. They have 1st and 15 at their own 30-yard line.
So what we really didn't want to do was turn the ball back over that quick, because the defense has been on the field through almost the entire second half, and we're fortunate they didn't score another touchdown after this. That's a testament to the defense. They hung in there real tough and played real as well as they could as against a real tough football team. Jonathan Steele, number 40, comes in and saves a touchdown. That makes a good move. The inside linebacker makes a good play there.
Bonnabel with a 2nd and 4 at the 37-yard line.
There's a counter play, which in the last 3 weeks we've gotten really good at.
Chad Phillips there, we made an adjustment to help out on the counter because we've been having trouble with our linebackers playing the counter all year long. It's just from youth, but hopefully they would adjust to it. It's 2 sophomores. That's Ronnie Tunnefeld makes a good play there.
That's Robinson again on the play we called down.
A lot of people around the ball still. Not giving up to give it to just letting them run. Just letting them run to bellies and traps like they did last year for touchdown.
This might be one of the few times we got number 60 blocked on this play. Usually that position is not a factor on this type of play, but he gave us fits all night.
Jonathan Steele made a good play from his inside linebacker position there.
You can see the good running there by Davis. And sometimes, like we were talking about earlier, you don't have him all blocked, so he can make a move and make up for that kind of mistake.
There's the dice man again. Oh, another penalty.
Personal foul gives Bonnabel a 2nd and 20.
We've had the referee, Mr. Marlborough, the last 3 or 4 ball games. I think he's one of the best referees we have, and he's done a few JV games, and he's kind of been nicknamed the Dice Man, but I think he's one of the best ones in the district. That was a reference to him.
I think we'll have something to work on this week. We'll have to work with Davis adjusting to those long passes there. Good thing he can run, though. He finished the night with over 100 yards rushing, along with the big interception that kind of turned the play around, so he had an excellent night.
Good play by George Nassau.
Grace King holding Bonnabel on a 4th and 16 and taking over deep in their own territory, 1st and 10.
There's Aubrey Scott, number 23, our senior linebacker, defensive end, who came in the 4th quarter and really played well. He's excellent at running to the football and running down people from behind. There's, once again, Jeff Jones, who, like we said earlier, hadn't played in a couple of weeks, finally got to get back in the action, and with fresh legs, he was all over the place.
Sure, he was excited to be on the field.
Oh yeah, he always is. There's the other tackle. We rotate. We've been rotating 3 tackles. Maurice Britton, Jones, and that was Philip Marino, 71, on that play.
Grace King punting from their own 17-yard line, and a good coverage there by the Grace King special team.
Jonathan Steele again. I've been mentioning his name quite a bit. He played a good bit of the second half at linebacker and ended up with about 6 or 7 tackles.
We have 2:32 left in the 4th quarter.
He's going to see a little bit more action this week against Riverdale.
Robinson still running hard. I think he finished the night with 160-something yards rushing. He had his usual excellent night. Other than that,
good play by George Nassau, reaching in and causing a stripping the ball, and Brad Phillips makes a fumble recovery. It seems like there's always a Phillips around the ball. He also has a slice on his thumb there, if you notice, and he was able to get there. And right now, he's pretty well whipped.
Grace King taking over after the fumble on their 25-yard line with 1:50 left in the ball game.
There's that tight end screen they hit us with earlier to the other side, and we finally made a good play on it when they ran it to this side. Dan Amador there held him off until the cavalry came to help there.
Really good. He stalked it the whole time.
There's Amador again on a play. He came back and finished the game with some good plays. He was struggling in the first half, trying to tackle a quarterback. But,
a minute and a half, we scored 28-7. I don't particularly like throwing in this situation, but we've been accused of not trying to catch up when we're 3 touchdowns behind, and so I thought I'd give the kid a chance to throw the ball a little bit that situation. I thought it was a dangerous thing to do, but...
Coach, I think it's hard for any football team to play catch-up with a minute left with 3 touchdowns.
Right.
I mean, you're in a position where it's going to be almost impossible to make 3 scores.
And, you know, sometimes in those situations you try things and work on things that will help you for the next week.
Exactly. The final score, Bonnabel 28, King 7. Great football game. The final score, 28-7, not indicative of the way the game was played.
No, it definitely wasn't. Until we made that interception in the third quarter, they were going for a potential go-ahead score.
Correct.
You know, it was anybody's game. A lot, you know, too close for our liking.
Well, we're down to week 10, coming to week 10 of this marathon district that we have, and Bob, you've got a big rivalry coming up for you this week on Friday night. You've got Grace King and Riverdale.
Yes, this is a very big, another East Bank rivalry, and it's a real big ball game for Grace King. I told the kids that Friday night and Saturday morning that we want to go out a winner at the end of the year, and my 3 years we haven't beaten Riverdale yet, and we're going to be ready to play. And we looked at the game against Bonnabel, and we had some real strong positive points. We played well against the run, although they got a lot of yards, but they're a strong football team.
Yes.
And we didn't give up, and the kids hung in there defensively. Offensively, we had a shot and scored once. We didn't score the second time, and against good teams like that, you have to score. But we're going to turn everything into, you know, I hate to keep using the word positive, but we're going to try to, you know, be up for next week, and we win that. We can beat Riverdale. It's going to be tough. They haven't won a game, but they're going to want to win, and they have the mindset that they can beat King, which is kind of a thing we go into against certain teams. They play one way against one team, but they play King. They know that they got a shot, but we also feel like we have a shot, and it'll be 3 victories for us, and I think that'll be the first time since '86 they've won 3, and so. You got to try to take, you know, make the best out of what your season is. I kind of wish we'd have won a few more ball games, and like most coaches, but we play to win every week, and we're going to play to win this week.
Well, Coach, you've got to be proud of the way this team has improved. You know, you've got a team that is certainly, you know, getting better, and they've improved every week, and they've played, you know, excellent football, and you've got to be proud of that as a coach and your staff, the way these kids have developed.
Well, it would help. It would help to have a win this week. I mean, it's very important.